everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast Between the Hashmarks, where we will be talking about a whole lot of sports stuff going on in the world and just a little bit about nothing. But without any further ado, I'm going to let him just talk about what happened in the NFL yesterday.
Guys, I'm wearing a party hat. I had a bottle of champagne I was going to pop, but it decided to pop itself.
That's okay. It works. It's all right. It's all good.
Here I am. I've been waiting for this day to happen. Josh McDaniels has finally been let go by the Las Vegas Raiders. There was so much behind the scenes that we didn't know, and then it all came out when he got fired, and it was great.
No, he was telling me some really fun stuff before we started, so I'm ready to hear all of this.
So, when it came down to it at the end of the day, Mark Davis was fed up with McDaniels as well. I was getting annoyed with Mark Davis for him not wanting to fire this guy right away when I didn't want him to begin with. I've been calling this for a year. But Mark Davis was going around and he was talking to players, asking them, had he lost the locker room? Did you want to play for him? Da, 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 da. And not one of those guys, not one, said, yeah, I think he's doing a great job. He had done such a terrible job.
It's not good.
You let a franchise quarterback walk out. You let him. You bring in your guy, Jimmy Garoppolo, and now you're the 31st ranked offense in the NFL. You brought in your guys. And then, do you know what they were ranked last year with Derek Carr at the helm?
What were they ranked?
12th in offense. And you let that guy walk. And you sit here and you hired Jimmy G, a franchise that just traded 3 first-round picks to get rid of your bum ass. I mean, I had never, ever in my life seen just a nightmare of a franchise that was going on with what he was doing. I watched Jimmy Garoppolo on Monday Night Football play the worst I've ever seen a quarterback play. It was the worst.
He was.
He missed Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams was slamming his helmet, and people were bashing Devontae Adams. Why would you bash Devontae Adams?
You can't.
He was annoyed, and he was fed up, and he's been wanting Aiden O'Connell to start. So what do? They bring in Antonio Pierce. Pierce, you're our guy. You know what Antonio Pierce is from? He's from Compton. He is a true Raiders fan. He played for the Giants. He was tough. He was tougher than nails, but he was a Raider. He even said, I rolled with NWA back then when they were in L.A. He said, I wore all the gear. I was with NWA. I was in Compton. I was ready. He said, that's the toughness we want to bring. And when people tell me that coaching doesn't matter, he said, what we have to do is get the belief of those players, and not one of them believed in McDaniels.
No.
And there's too much talent in that locker room to be 3-5. And losing to the Bears 30-12.
I completely agree.
A rookie Division II quarterback who I love, by the way. I think it's great. But you lost 30-12. You couldn't even score against the Bears. Then you go into Detroit, and Detroit didn't even play that good of a game, and they destroyed you.
I got you. It's okay.
Thank you.
It's all right.
But I'm ready
It's
to.
all right.
I'm ready to tip it up, buddy.
I know.
I'm ready to cheers.
It's all right.
Josh McDaniels is finally out of Vegas.
You fought long and hard for this, okay?
I fought for it. I like to think I had a role in it. I like to believe that I had a role in this. So raise your glasses. I want you to raise your glasses.
I can.
I want you to cheers.
It was a hard fight.
First of all, I'm sorry for Kirk Cousins.
I mean, it happens.
Go Jaron Hall, and thank God whoever gets in that our head coaching job. Thank God Pierce. Buddy, you can't do any worse, so you got all the pressure off of you. Congratulations on that.
This was a long time coming.
I've been begging for it for a year. Cheers.
Okay, so
let's
get back to
you like that.
No. I think that was perfect. I think the big thing to take away is that you've wanted this for so long. And
I got my shirt back on. I haven't worn my shirt in forever. I got my hat. I've always worn my hat, but now I got my shirt and my hat. I'm dialed in.
And now this is something that is kind of like coming to fruition since week 1, since episode 1 of the podcast, since, day 1. You haven't had nothing but harsh words for Josh McDaniels, which are warranted, which is fine.
Everyone's starting to see everything that I said, and now it all comes out at the same time.
And that's fine. And that's why with the Antonio Pierce being the interim head coach,
I love it.
there is no way but up from here.
See, to me, it brings it D'Amico Ryan's kind of to the team.
That's what you want.
And that's what you want
a player's coach.
People. I love
you
that.
100% want a player's coach, and I think that's what you found in Antonio
The problem
Pierce.
with McDaniels is he never evolved with the NFL. He thought 100%, just like everybody kept saying, the Patriot way is good way, and that's not how it works anymore.
No,
this you have to evolve with the league. The league requires your quarterback now to be able to scramble. He has to be able to move, because if you don't, you get to let Aiden Hutchinson, guys like that, off the edge, and they can pin their ears back because they know you can't move. So once again, he thought his way was the only way. He let everyone walk, and you have to go to your players, your star players, and you have to ask them, hey, like, who do you want in here? Like, what should we do to get better?
And that's why it's wild that he did that. You know, like, I wouldn't say it's wild, but it goes to show how much faith he had in Josh McDaniels, which was non-existent. You know, you're going to the players, you're asking them, hey, do you want to play for this guy? And they're telling you no.
And they're not happy. None of them were happy. He had lost the locker room.
No.
Nobody was happy with it. No one was happy with what they were showing. And then on top of that, like, he let Adams' boy, Derek Carr, walk out of that building. And I assure you, he did not go to Adams and ask him. And from that point on, Adams did not feel important to that franchise. And you have to go to your franchise players, and you have to talk to them about the personnel. You have to. They feel like they're involved. Now, you can make your own decision, but you got to know where they stand, because you can't have your star players unhappy, and Adams is completely unhappy.
And so it's a new day in Las Vegas.
Everyone's pumped again.
With this opening segment, we can put Josh McDaniels to bed. Like, put him to rest.
He's done.
Put him in a coffin.
He'll probably be the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots.
And guess what? We wish him the best, but you have no more of an affiliation with the Las Vegas Raiders, and I know you're excited.
He will not get a head coaching job again in the NFL, and if he does, the owner's a moron.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just call it what it is.
All right, so let's roll into what we have for this week. We just had to get that out of the way.
I did. I've been begging.
Do you feel better now that you got that off your chest?
Off my chest. I was so excited to see it, and everyone finally saw what I've been saying. That's what I was happy about.
All right, hometown team. What did they do this week?
Boy, do they look! They just know how to win the tough games now. That's stuff they didn't do in the past. Like, Trevor looked good. They were in a rain game in Pittsburgh, where it's really tough to play the big ketchup bottle, Heinz Field.
Terrible
and they
towels.
went in there, and they got a tough, hard victory, and I love that. I mean, this team's good, man. I think they're the best team in football right now. That's just my personal opinion. I think it's But they won 5 in a row now.
They have
5 in a row since that Texans loss. They've now.
I want to say this like a Good Morning show on NFL Network. One of the analysts had the Jaguars as the best team in the AFC.
I think they are. They deserve it.
The host is like, how? They haven't even won 3 games in a row. He goes, no, actually, they won 5
games in a row.
And
Trevor started
Lawrence,
in London against the Falcons.
And they're playing great football. Trevor Lawrence is playing great football. You had not only Jaguar fans, but you had the NFL kind of like a little cautious with the knee injury. He's been coming out warming up, big brace on his left knee. But he has played lights out. Doesn't look like the knee is affecting him at all. Etienne's rushing the ball well. The defense, Aluakan,
the defense is legit.
Second in the league in tackles.
Oh, he's a monster. That guy.
Josh Allen, second in the league in sacks.
He has taken that step to an elite pass rusher, and that's what you've been waiting for. Mm-hmm. When the Raiders passed him up, I was very disappointed, but that's what we do. We used to make stupid mistakes, and now he's showing why he should have been taken where he was. A guy out of Kentucky, he was raw when he came out, but
he's good now.
Elite.
He's good now. Travon Walker still developing.
And it took Allen a little while, so you got to give Walker. If you put, I mean, I feel like if you get Walker and Allen, and they're gonna eventually both get to their peak, and they're both going to just destroy.
The only thing, and I agree with you, you got to give him his time. It's fine. Like, listen, man, like Rome wasn't built overnight. But when you have a guy that was in your same draft class who's performing a lot better than you in Aiden Hutchinson, now that timeline begins to shrink and shrink and shrink. So Travon Walker is going to need to have somewhat of a breakout last half of the year, in order to really prove his
Well,
worth
when
to
the
Jacksonville.
Jags took him, the Jags said it was between him and Hutch, but they liked Trayvon Walker's upside more than Hutchinson.
Well,
but
we gonna find.
Hutchinson's more of a develop at the moment, and Walker's got to take that next step. And if they do, I mean, those two off the edge are going to be hard to defend.
Not only that, the Jaguars also made some moves before the trade deadline. They picked up now everyone. Me being a Minnesota Vikings fan, I had a lot of Jaguars fans, which is pretty much everyone here, saying to me, Adonis, send us Danielle Hunter, send us Danielle Hunter. They did not get Danielle Hunter, but they did get some extra offensive line help in Ezra Cleveland.
They needed that.
Which they needed him to provide a little extra protection. He hadn't given up a sack in 366 snaps.
The Jags, I picked the Jags to go to the bowl this year, and I picked them to go to the AFC. I was told I was crazy. Well, actually, my Super Bowl pick was the Saints and the Jaguars. That was my Super Bowl prediction.
I don't know about the Saints part. You had it
right
half.
now. They're not, but there's. I'll tell you what. Say what you want, but last week Derek Carr might have played the best game
All right.
I seen from a quarterback all year. That's how good he was. Rashid Shaheed averaged 51 yards a catch last game.
Ain't no way you said some crazy stuff.
No, the best of the year. I didn't say the best
Of the year,
probably the best played game by a quarterback. He didn't turn the ball over. He was 19 of 27. They were all efficient throws. They were all down the field. Him and Olave were on the same page. Him and Mike Thomas were on the same page.
Will Levis threw
Him and
4
Taysom
Teddies
Hill.
on Sunday.
Who?
Will Levis.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like before we let's pump the brakes. We're playing the Falcons. We're at home. We're just throwing it up for D-Hop saying, go get it, which
Ain't
no
nobody
one
been
else
doing
could
that
do.
all year, yeah.
but that was Ryan Tannehill. I mean, let's call that what it is.
But
let's see
I
him.
do agree.
Let's get
I do
film on this guy, and then
I think
let's
the
see what
Jags are
happens.
good, though. I think the Jags are a great team.
The Jags are the number one team in football at the moment
Bye
because they
week this
play
week,
offense
right?
and defense.
Bye week this week, right?
They do, and they're on bye, and then they come back and play the Niners, who are now on the skid. So it's very interesting.
And we'll talk more about that Niners matchup next week on the cusp of it happening. But the hometown week is in really
Jags
good
are
shape.
hot, Niners are not. Very interesting.
Yep. Jaguars are doing great. If you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, which should be pretty much most people listening, you guys are poised to have a great season. Trevor Lawrence is now what you guys want him to be, right? Like you want him to be sunshine. You want him to walk on water. He's technically doing all those things.
He's playing within the system, and he's not making mistakes, and they're just winning football games.
And it's a redemption run for Doug Peterson because I don't think the Eagles should have let him go.
No, and that's what I'm saying. You got a Super Bowl caliber coach, and you got a Super Bowl caliber quarterback who's coming into his own. Really, his second season because that one with Urban Meyer doesn't even count, in my opinion.
You right?
And now he's coming into his own. ETN looks great out of the backfield. That offense is going to and they're still not fully clicking.
No.
I mean, and if they do, it's going to be very dangerous.
Which is why we always tell ourselves and other sports watchers, particularly NFL watchers, never get panicked by week 3 or 4. Like these teams are still trying to figure it out, even in week 8.
100%. I keep telling people this. Give it some time. Saints fans are on me every day about they don't like this. I said, give it time.
Give it time.
It's only week 8, buddy. Like, and what is that Colts game? Is that?
Yeah,
the over the hump game for that offense? I don't know. We're going to see, but I tell you what, they looked phenomenal. Kamara, Olave, Mike Thomas, Taysom Hill, Derek Carr, they were all clicking in that game.
It's one of the biggest like puzzling questions looming how is the Saints offense that good and they're not getting production?
It's fractional.
Week to week it'll get better.
It's fractional stuff. Right. The offensive line played their best game of the season too, and that's a big factor also.
All right, time to get into my favorite segment of the show. When I needed you the most, where were you? When I needed you. This week, we have 3 candidates. We'll start at number 3. All are fun this week. All are good and all are warranted, which is always important. They let us down when they needed us the most. So, first up, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy.
I think McDaniels did that motherfucker.
Jimmy. I can't even begin to put into words how much you let down the Las Vegas Raiders fan base, okay?
Yeah, I mean, you made me happy. You got McDaniels fired. Congrats.
There were a mirage of plays taking back-to-back sacks, underthrowing your wide receiver 1 in double coverage. You put the ball behind him, which you're an NFL caliber quarterback. You should be able to do it. You can't. You underthrow him. You throw a pick.
It was tough to watch.
It was tough to watch from start to finish.
And the best part about that situation, It's McDaniels in his interview. They said, "Did you have any consideration going to Aiden O'Connell?" And he said, "No."
Yeah, because
What?
well, because he knows his job hangs in the balance, and he just wants to be an asshole. Like that's just
true.
the best.
I mean, that could have been. Maybe he found out that Mark Davis.
I think that's really what it is. So Jimmy G, like when the Las Vegas Raiders fan base needed you the most, when not only was your job on the line, your head coach's job, your GM's job, and your OC's job on the line, you let them all down.
And
Okay, they all hit the unemployment line today. I might see him at Whataburger later. Jimmy G, let me get that number 13. I want the extra strip. Give me creamy pepper sauce while you at it.
He's done in the league.
Okay,
He's done.
that's what I want for you.
I've been saying he's done. Now everyone finally realizes he's done.
But let's move on to the next number 2 on when I needed you the most. It's going to be the entire Texans football team.
Ooh, boy.
The Panthers have not won a game all year. It's not to say Bryce Young is bad. He's a rookie. He's put into a situation that is less than favorable. That's just how it happens in the league. This team, I wouldn't say isn't supposed to win games because football teams, like they're all NFL caliber players. They can win. They can win, but their situation is led them to be for up until last week. So Texans, young CJ Stroud, great receivers, DeMeco Ryans. I love you at head coach, man, but Texans, when they needed you the most, you allowed the Panthers to get their first win of the season. Man.
You know what's crazy? In the 8th grade that Bryce Young and CJ Stroud played the game together.
That's what I was hearing. I was hearing that. So yeah, Texans
pay
fans,
attention to who won that game, but I should go back and look because I'm very intrigued. Are they 1-1 against each other now, or somebody 2-0?
It might be. It might be. I tell you this much right now: the Texans let them down. They let themselves down, so they're going to be number 2. But at number 1, and I never, ever, ever thought this name would end up on my list.
Oh, you got to get him when he get down.
And I'm pretty sure he's going to end up on a lot of people's lists.
Got to get him when he's down.
Number 1 on this week's When I Needed You the Most is going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Get him when he's down.
I got to get you, baby, okay? I need you to come here because I need you right now. I understand he was ill before the game. They had to put him on an IV.
Oh, come on, guys.
Listen, I have to state the facts, okay? They had to put him on an IV drip before the game started. I get all of that. But to go into Denver, you don't score no teddies, buddy. Okay? I understand. Listen, there have been plenty of games a lot of players have played sick. I don't just like
Michael Jordan.
Flu game.
He's supposed to be Michael Jordan, right?
Flu game. Okay? Pippen had to hold him up. Every timeout, towel over his head, hydrating. So for you not to score a touchdown against one of the worst teams in the NFL and to lose, you are my number 1 overall pick for when I needed you the most. You didn't show up. I hope you never land on this list again. I don't think you will. But there's a lot of questions looming in Kansas City about if they can get it done. We're going to get there later in the show, but for
Their
this...
wide receivers are struggling badly at the moment.
They are. And Patrick Mahomes, don't land on my list again.
Dude.
Don't you come in my office again.
That was the same team that gave
for
up
the second.
70 points to the Finns, the fraud Finns.
Anything for you this week? What you got? Anything on tap?
I got nothing. Listen, my rant is over for the day. My Josh McDaniels rant, I love it. I'm still excited. I've just been smiling all day.
Anything about your boy Tyson Bagent? How do you feel about his performance?
I'll tell you what. Okay, first of all, when you play for the Bears, you're limited to what you can do because the Bears aren't a very good football team. But what he did in that game, I don't know if you watched the game, but I saw him move and he made NFL throws. I mean, they had no problem going 5 wide with this kid and he made all the right reads.
Apparently some of the turnovers that he committed weren't even on him.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he did not play a bad football game. I mean, he looked like an NFL caliber quarterback. He's going to get another start this week. It's going to be a tough one. He's in New Orleans in that dome. That is a tough spot to land. So, but once again, he's got an arm. He showed that in the first play of the game. He went out there, banged Darnell Mooney right down the sidelines. He made throws outside the hash to the outside where only his receiver could catch it. And he made NFL throws, and I'm very, very excited for him moving forward. I think it's awesome.
Okay, well, we're going to be looking at Tyson Bagent again this week. I don't think Fields is going to be playing this week.
He's in New Orleans. He is in New Orleans this week. And like I said, I like what I see. I think he is a very, very NFL caliber quarterback.
All right. Well, with that, we'll move into our 5 picks of the week. We will start with our Thursday night football game, the Tennessee Titans versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Whew, boy. Will Levis, short week. It's going to be tough.
I tell you this much. If I had any idea, Tyler, that putting mayonnaise in my coffee would amount to me being an absolute stud at whatever I did, I'd have Hellman's coming out of my eyeballs right now.
I put Duke's mayonnaise in there because
This kid has some of the weirdest pregame rituals ever, but when you throw for 4 touchdowns, when you literally,
he's got a
I'm talking, put the paddles on your offense and bring it back to life, you can do whatever you want,
I'll
man.
tell you what, he has a cannon of an arm because those throws he made to D Hop were effortless. Some of them look like it looked like a punt. One of them he threw so high. He just hucked it down there and he said, screw it, D Hop down there somewhere. Woo! And he was.
And it revitalized the offense because your wide receiver 1 is happy.
When you can get the ball down the field, it just makes it so much easier to run. It makes it just so much easier.
And it shouldn't be hard to run when you have who in the backfield.
Yeah, right now, Tajay Spears and Derrick Henry are getting that game was great. They both were in there doing it. Tajay's a great counterpunch to Derrick Henry. He can get down that field and he makes people miss. I'm going to take Pittsburgh because I'm nervous of Levis on a short week against a really tough
He has
defense.
been named the starter, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And he is on a short week, and I just think it's going to be very, very tough to beat that defense on a short week.
Yes.
That's my pick, so I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Well, not only that, the Pittsburgh defense is not to be trifled with at all.
Oh, TJ Watt's stupid good.
Defense still, reigning defensive player of the year, TJ Watt. He's 3rd in the league in sacks.
Minka, he gets the job done.
He gets the job done. They're going
to confuse him as well.
They're going to confuse him. Not only that, on the other side of the ball, Tennessee just dealt one of their biggest pieces on defense, Kevin Byard, to the Eagles.
I know, it's pretty wild.
So you wonder, as the trade deadline approached, you're like, damn, man, they're going to blow it all up, right? You get rid of your...
You're thinking Henry's going too.
Exactly. You get rid of your all-pro and Kevin Byard. You're like, man, Henry's going right behind him.
Well, I think if Levis wouldn't have played as good as he did,
they'd have blew it up.
They probably would have blown it up. But then they were like, now we might have something in this kid, so let's keep this together.
Yep. And for what it's worth, I didn't like his attitude in the draft.
No.
I didn't like how he approached it.
But sometimes when a guy approaches it like that, he's a very confident human, and he doesn't mean anything by it. And your confidence, the confidence that you get in this league, you need confidence, because if you don't have confidence in this league, you have
he came in with a chip on his shoulder.
And 100%.
Yeah.
But it's your job as a GM and as a head coach to interview this guy and figure out what is it. Is he arrogant
that
or
was the
is
question.
he confident?
And that was the question, right? Is you fall out of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone says you interview terribly.
Right.
You have a bunch of prospects that are, quote unquote, better than you. And not only that, you make a spectacle out of your draft moment. Will Levis's girlfriend goes viral before him, and she ended up getting a deal with whatever, which doesn't matter.
Hey,
but
I mean, you do what you do.
You do what you do.
Somebody gives us a deal, we're gone too.
But it's what is it about Will Levis that rubbed all the owners the wrong way? And then he comes out, drops it on the floor, and goes, "This is what all of you passed up on." He's named the starter tonight. I can't pick a winner. If I had to, gun to my head, I would have to say Pittsburgh. But I don't know what kind of game I'll get out of Will Levis. So I'll take Pittsburgh in a close one.
To watch Will Levis tonight.
I am too. So I'm taking Pitt. You taking Pitt?
I am taking Pitt.
Okay, but we are excited to see what Will Levis can do.
100%.
So we're going to go ahead and roll into the Sunday games. First up, Kansas City versus Miami.
Germany game. I mean, this is where I stand on this, because I'm back and forth on this. I think Mahomes rebounds, obviously. And I also, they
said obviously.
haven't.
Right.
The Dolphins haven't beaten a team with a winning record all
I'm not
year.
doing that. You're right, but I'm not counting them out. I'm not going to count out a team that is so electric on offense, because they'll
I hate Kansas City, but I don't hate Kansas City.
I'm going to take Miami.
I see. This game intrigues me a lot, because the Dolphins have to show they can beat somebody, and they get a team that doesn't look as good as they have in the past, and they get a team coming off a huge loss to Denver. I mean, they got smoked.
They
Again,
got
wasn't
smoked.
as close.
It wasn't even close.
They got trampled.
It wasn't even close.
But I think Mahomes will bounce back. I think Travis Kelce has a huge game. Jalen Ramsey's probably going to be hawking Travis Kelce.
Come on, man.
Who just got his first pick as a Dolphin.
Come on. That's where I'm going, baby.
But
that's
Jalen Ramsey is
going.
not the Jalen Ramsey he was.
He don't need to be.
But
he don't need to be.
Somebody on that Kansas City wide receiving corps has got to step up.
Who?
I think
Name
Rashee Rice has got to be the guy.
Anyone you name ain't showing up. Doesn't matter.
The Finns haven't beat anybody with a winning record. That bothers me. I don't think they continue to beat anybody because they're fraud Finns until they prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Finkel is
welcome,
Einhorn.
Pedro. You're welcome. I know you're angry about the fraud Finns comment, but they're frauds.
Listen,
right now.
I won't count all the Dolphins. I'm just gonna simply state
I want the Dolphins to prove me wrong. I'm challenging them right now. The fraud Finns until you prove me otherwise. Beat somebody with a winning record.
Kansas City struggled. Mahomes struggled last game.
Very struggled.
Their wide receiver core.
He threw a lot of picks this year too.
And they just added back a reunion tour with McCole Hardman, but it ain't gonna matter. They do not have a certified
They're
wide
actually
receiver
using him
one.
well. I mean, McCole Hardman's been catching balls, running, doing. He's not as good.
He has, but the well is Travis Kelce. Everyone knows it.
Of course, you got to go to the well.
Everyone knows it. Jalen Ramsey.
The question of the day is, will Swift be in Germany? Because when Taylor Swift's there, Travis Kelce crushes.
Is she going? Let's find out.
Will she be in Germany?
I'm taking Miami in that game, right? You taking?
I'm taking the Chiefs because the fraud Finns haven't beat anybody with a winning record.
All right, next up, I'm going to let you go and walk us right into that. Minnesota at the Falcons.
Yeah. Man, Minnesota, I feel so bad for them because they had turned that corner that I was looking for.
No, it hurt.
And their Flores defense had turned that corner. They were making plays. They were jumping around. They were making turnovers. They were doing the things. I was like, oh, this Vikings team's back, and the Lions better watch out. You lose Kirk Cousins, who was playing the two best football games I think I've ever seen him play.
I know.
Against the Niners, and then comes in against, and he was dropping dimes against the Packers. I mean, they were that dime to Addison. Whew, boy, I was over the shoulder in between two defenders. Guy wasn't even looking. The ball literally went right by his head, right into the guys. It was impressive. And then he tears his Achilles, and now the whole thing's blown up. Yeah. I wanted Minnesota to get Jameis so bad. I wanted to see Winston with those weapons. I wanted it.
I
wanted it.
Reports said that they called about.
My guess is the Saints' asking price was too high. If I had
Jameis's asking price was too high, and there was a Jacoby Brissett. They said that their asking price for him was too high. Josh Dobbs, it's a pick swap.
He's not starting this week, which stinks because I think Josh Dobbs does have a little bit of talent. I found a stat that he completes 72% of his passes against man-to-man coverage.
All of it sounds good.
But he only completes 23% of his passes against zone.
I don't want to count him out because he just got benched in Arizona, but that situation's a lot worse. He's stepping into a better situation.
He's got way more talent around him.
I'm just going to sit back and see what the wall looks like.
I think Josh Dobbs is I don't think he's great by any stretch, but he's a very serviceable quarterback. And with that talent they have, I mean, I think they can still win ball games. I don't think they're going to be elite. I don't think they're going to make the playoff. They'll be in the playoff push, but I don't know if they can make it with that.
And that's okay, right? Like, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan through and through. I bleed the purple and gold, but that's okay.
And I know
that's fine.
The Vikings fans have wanted Cousins gone for a while, but
that's the only thing that sat wrong with me. Let me
tell you this: Jefferson came out the other day and said, "I want Cousins as my quarterback."
So he's going to get it.
And what do? I just talked about this. When your star player wants that guy, you give him the money.
Give him the guy.
And that's how it goes.
And I think the biggest potential plot twist is if Jaron Hall goes out and has a game on Sunday. I don't
expect it.
I don't expect it.
I watched Jaron Hall at BYU. He's not. I don't think he's an NFL caliber quarterback. But hey, who knows?
Now the Falcons on the other side of the ball. We're hoping Jaron Hall has a good game.
Go
good luck
to Taylor
to you.
Heineke. What do you think about that?
He's a big energy guy. I like him. Okay? His time in Washington, I've always felt he should have been the starter from the get-go. High energy guy, confident guy, not afraid to put the ball out there. A lot of high quality locker room traits that players love. He's a big energy guy. I like him. I think that's the right move. I think Arthur Smith has been doing some questionable things. I think he needs to get into the good graces of his owner. Not that his job is on the line, but hey man, you need to get it together. Desmond Ritter is not doing it.
I agree, and this is what I like about Ty. He's a dog, and by that I mean
A dog.
He's
a
plays hard. He is going to give you 110% every single play. He is going to watch the film. He is going to do all the things to try to be great because Taylor Heineke knows he should not be in this league. He does not have the intangibles of these other guys. He doesn't have a big arm. He doesn't have the height. He's not the fastest guy, but what he does is he fights for your team and they get guys to believe in you. And even Tom Brady, when he played Tom Brady for the Commanders in that playoff game, Brady said that guy's a dog.
He is a dog.
Brady said that guy, I love what that guy did.
He's a dog.
Because he fought for everything he's ever had. And when you fight like that, the guys know that your teammates know that you fought for everything that you have at this moment. They know it. And they fight for you and they make plays for you. And that's what's great. And I think Drake London, I think Kyle Pitts is going to benefit more from Taylor Heineke than you would imagine. Mm-hmm. I think he's been dealt a bad card. I still think Kyle Pitts is a great football player. He's been dealt a bad card with his quarterback situation and Arthur Smith, who just wants to run the ball all the time.
So with that being said, I'm going to take Minnesota. Atlanta's -4. They're at home, so they're getting 3. So the true line is -1. I think Jaren Hall has a good enough game. I think a lot of people are ignorant to the fact, which ignorance is a strong word. I just don't think they understand how big of a developing system Minnesota's becoming. Yeah. Top-rated offensive line. Defense kind of looming in that 12th to 15th.
The defense is going to have to win this game.
Defense is going to have to win the game. And they're playing good. They're playing good the past 2 games. So I'm going to take my Minnesota Vikings 24-17.
I did not check. Where is this game?
In Atlanta.
I can't. I'm going to take Atlanta.
But the thing about it is they lost their defensive lineman.
Of course.
And they didn't make a move in the trade deadline. They were going after Sweat.
It is.
And they didn't get him. They didn't land him.
It's hard to win in this league without your 2-star player. You don't have Kurt, and you don't have Jefferson. Now, Addison's very good, but Jaren Hall, it's hard to lose your quarterback in this league and have a quality quarterback come in and back him up. And it's hard. And this is a different beast than college because those guys are going to blitz you. They're going to confuse you. They're going to have this all. And these guys are pros. These are not college football players.
No,
this is not the Mountain West. This is not these kind of guys. These guys are tough. And I don't think Jaren Hall is going to make enough plays. Can the defense make enough plays is the question. I'm going to say no. I'm taking Taylor Heineke because I love that guy. I think he's fought for everything he's ever had, and I respect guys like that.
All right.
I would take the Vikings if Kurt was playing 100%.
You're wrong, but okay. All right.
I like that.
We'll move into the next game. Cincinnati Bengals, the revitalized.
They're back. They do this every year.
Every year they do it. The revitalized Bengals against the Buffalo Bills.
It's a good game.
I looked at this game about 20 minutes ago. I couldn't call it. I'm looking at this game right now. I still can't call it.
Cincinnati at Buffalo?
Yeah.
Well, Cincinnati at Buffalo. This was a playoff game in the snow. The Bengals won that game. I think Buffalo has too many injuries. They're missing a lot of. They have a lot of defense on them with no White, no Milano. I mean, they're missing guys, and that defense is struggling. I mean, you lose all pro players, your defense is not going to be the same. It's just how it goes.
That's just how it goes.
So, Joe Burrow seems to be getting it together with Chase. Him and Higgins haven't quite gotten back on the same page they should be in.
They're in Cincinnati.
Oh, if it's in Cincinnati, then I definitely have the Bengals in this ball game. I just think that the Cincinnati Bengals have turned that corner that they've been missing.
Okay.
And the Chase combo with Burrow is back. Higgins and him haven't quite got there yet.
Ribs.
But it's coming.
Ribs.
It's coming.
He's been injured.
I know.
But it's all good.
It's coming.
It's all going to work itself out.
Tyler Boyd's very good out of the slot. They have a lot of talent. And you knew Cincinnati.
You knew.
I knew they were going to get together. And I think they win this ballgame. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals because I think Burrow and Chase combo is too much to handle personally.
So is it that the Bengals I mean, if you're saying the Bengals are going to win, you're saying the Bengals are the better football team.
I think they are.
So what is it about Buffalo that you don't think they'll be able to do to get the job done?
I just think they have too many injuries. I think the defensive side of the ball, they're just missing too many all-pro guys. I mean, you lose your best corner and your best linebacker.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
they sent Rasul Douglas actually in the trade deadline. They did. I mean, they picked up Rasul Douglas from
very beneficial, very helpful. But when you lose your quarterback of the defense, Matt Milano, that is a tough ask because he is a stud.
Oh, he's out this week.
Oh, he's done for the year. Yeah, Matt Milano. That's a tough one. He's been gone since the Jags game.
Oh, Lord. I didn't know that.
He got hurt in the Jags game. Matt Milano, without that quarterback, has just not been the same. Or that whole defense just hasn't been the same.
I did not know that. Man, that's going to be a tough ask. Knowing that they lost Tre'Davious White, they're bringing in Rasul Douglas. Like you said, a lot of injuries to kind of pay attention to. Joe Shiesty is back, baby. I'm taking the Bengals over the Bills. There you go. There you have it. I'm saying it. I feel like Josh Allen's going to make me eat my words. I really, in my mind, I just see him launching at the Gabe Davis right over the top of the D. I'm telling you, man, he going to make me hurt. It's going to haunt my dreams.
Gabe Davis is I hate the guy in fantasy football. It's just insane.
I can see it in my dreams. He gonna make me pay for that.
He might catch 0. He might catch 3. He might have 3 tutties. I don't know.
You know what Josh Allen does, man.
He likes to turn it over. I know that.
All right. Well,
actually, he's been playing very well, and I'm lying about that.
So we both take Bengals. I think we're going to eat our words.
I'll tell you one thing I want to talk about before we pick that game of the week, Philly and Dallas. I want the Raiders and the Giants, and I want Aiden O'Connell. It's time to man up, buddy. It's time to man up, and it's time to show everybody why you should have been starting over Jimmy G in the first place, and let's score some points. We haven't scored 20 points all season.
We haven't
scored 20 all season this time.
Wow, the right arm's going crazy.
And I think they're going to respond with Pearson here. I think they're going to respond. And I think that they're going to win the ball game against the Giants because Daniel Jones stinks.
I'm going to have to talk you off the Dame's point. If you get very excited for this game and they let you down.
I think that team's going to respond to Pierce. I think they're going to come out because Antonio Pierce is a dog. And when you got dog-leading dogs, they become a pound. And then a pound just tacks. You got a winner. Dog-on-dog action, baby.
Wow.
you get the pound. Man, I'm pumped. We
almost said a really bad word.
We got the clown out of there. We got a clown out and dogs in, and that's what we need.
That's what you want. I agree.
So, Raiders beat the Giants by 14. You heard it here first. We haven't scored 20 all season. We're going to win by 14.
I'm going to take all of this little clip from where you started, and I'm going to make it real funny. Sunday night, you're going to see this.
I can't wait. I want that clip. We're some fools.
All right. Well, the game of the week, like Tyler said,
I love this game.
The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys.
About this game.
It has everything that makes it the game of the week. The rivalry, players, both teams, very good. Playoff hunt will you're playing for your respective division, right? The NFC East, the Eagles are the favorites. Dallas Cowboys, they don't count us out. Jalen Hurts, obviously.
Man, that's going to be a tough one.
This is tough. They asked Nick Sirianni, they said, how do you feel about this matchup going forward? And he said, I don't like to poke the bear. Jalen Hurts in turn said, well, go ahead and pour some honey on me. And I'm with him. Like Jalen Hurts said, we're in the National Football League. I'm not going to shy away from a big rivalry like the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to poke the bear. Pour honey on me. I'm ready for all of it. This is what I want.
With all that being said, Dallas has the worst coaching staff. But let me tell you what Philly's not doing, and I don't understand what they're doing over there in Philly. I've been watching Philly for the last couple of weeks. Why is Kenneth Gainwell your goal line back? The guy weighs 200 pounds.
Yeah, they got it.
Put Boston Scott. He's like a bowling ball. Put that little dude in there. Like, that dude's got strength. He's got strong. Gainwell gets tackled in the backfield, fumbles footballs. I don't know what he's doing there. Like, they haven't gotten that clicking. Like, ever since they lost Shane Steichen. Steichel. Seriously, they lost Steichel to the Colts. Like, that offense has not been the same. A.J. Brown's still a man, though. Oh, boy.
Yeah, he's the only saving grace they have.
I mean, you throw it up for him, and you're not catching it because he bully balls you.
You love him.
He bully balls you.
Yeah.
He 100% bully balls you, and I love it.
You love the kid.
But CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown. Man, well, we got text on. You knew he was coming on for this one. You knew he was coming on for this one.
What you said? He
got Dallas 35-21. Wow.
Yeah,
that's a Cowboys guy.
Yo,
you can't listen to this guy.
I always tell all the adults out there, you say no to drugs because they're not good for you, okay? I don't think the Cowboys are going to win this game by 14.
I don't think it's going to be that kind of game.
That's a bit much.
Man, this is a tough battle. I don't know who to pick.
I know who to pick. I know how to pick the Eagles.
I'm taking the Eagles too because
Yeah.
I hate McCarthy. I think he just, in big games he just does stupid things.
I understand what Micah Parsons is, and so like let's examine the big matchups, right? Okay, that Eagles offensive line against that Cowboys defensive line, DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, that offensive line, like
it hasn't been.
Lane Johnson hasn't given up a sack in 2 years, 2.5 years.
The Phillies offensive line is stupid.
It's dumb.
It's very good.
Like they eliminate threats. It doesn't matter how big or small.
That's why they're so good at that little push. And Jordan Mailata taught them how to do the stupid rugby scrum, and it taught them all this, and taught them how to do all that. When Philly has the ball, it's like 1st and 9. Because they get no 4th and 1, no matter where they go, they're getting a first down. It doesn't matter. And on top of that, like Dak has to do something in a big game. He played great last week. Like they blow people out, or they come in and they lay eggs against good teams. They're literally like the Dolphins to me. Like they do Dolphin things. Like they don't beat the good football teams. They haven't beat the good football teams. So Tony Pollard
taking all bets, no shot. Philly loses this game. Exactly.
He's on the Philly train.
I agree.
I'm on the Philly train too, but I do think it's going to be a very, very good football game.
It's going to be a great football game, but
I could see this going either way. But Dallas hasn't won a big game, and that's what they got to beat somebody. They're like the Dolphins. They got to beat someone to show you that you deserve the spot.
Only thing I remember about the Dallas Cowboys is losing 43-20 to the 49ers. That's all I remember.
I mean, they came out like gangbusters and beat the hell out of the Rams the other day.
But it's the Rams. Not that the Rams are a bad football team, but like there are teams in the league that do things very good. The Rams are not one of them. You know, they dismantled the team. They won their Super Bowl, which is fine, but like you can't really take too much of a like, oh man, this one was great against the Rams. This game, I don't even think will be close.
I disagree.
I think it'll be a 2-score game.
I'll tell you why I think it's going to be close. Secondary against Cowboys, against CeeDee Lamb and those receivers, I think they can make enough plays.
Who back there can't hang with them? You know who's going on.
I agree, but that Sam Howell just lit them up for 400 yards last week. I mean, they don't. Their slot corner is not good. I can't even think of his name right now, but my buddy would tell me he's a huge Eagles fan, but he gets lit up. And CeeDee Lamb likes to play out of the slot. I know and teams like, oh, well, he's got Slay hawking him, and that's just not how it works. Like sometimes you're in different coverages, and Slay goes here and Slay goes there, and Slay's not your slot guy. And like they move him all over the place, and like sometimes you're playing zone, so it's not like it's Slay versus Lamb.
Who is it to beat 49ers had their Super Bowl against us, 3 losses in a row? All right.
Right, but Dallas got beat by them 43-12 or something like that.
43-20.
It's funny.
And I mean, you guys were getting dealt to by Brock Purdy. Not that like Brock Purdy's bad. He's not elite. He does his job.
He's not.
But I mean, he was out there looking like Tommy B.
I mean, when I watch Jalen Hurts, he looks like nonchalantly just going down the field.
Yeah, and to me, the biggest factor for the Cowboys is Dak Prescott, right? He's played good the past few weeks, but let's not forget the ratio at which he turns the ball over. Okay,
in a big game, he doesn't make the plays.
He does not make the plays.
And this has been a knack on Dak for a long time.
Absolutely.
And he has to prove someone wrong. Once again, prove it, and then we'll talk to you.
Yeah, I'll be right there on the couch.
But this is a division football game, so don't think that these guys are going to go in there and just fight each other.
This game will get the viewership of probably the Super Bowl last year. Like this is a huge matchup. This is what everybody wants to see.
I want to watch it because
I want to see it. I don't think Micah Parsons. Micah who?
Micah Parsons.
And then they lost. I mean, for Eagles fans who know this, Brandon Brooks like retired from football because he was having mental health issues. They had just signed him to like a 4 or 5 year deal. He was one of the best guards in football, and in the offseason, I can't do it anymore. No, this offensive line is good.
It's very good.
It's very good. I think that we'll be in a lot of third and short and fourth and short situations, and you know what happens.
Thanks, Joe. Get back to work, buddy. And you're right. The Raiders do stink. I hope your boy Will Levis plays good. I'm excited for him, buddy.
We'll see, man. But like I said, I'm anticipating at least a 1-score win for the Eagles.
Undefeated team. Who's he talking about?
There are no undefeated teams.
I know. I don't know what he's talking about.
It's Cowboys fans, man. Cowboys fans.
Maybe he still thinks they're undefeated.
Not even close. But I'm looking forward to that matchup. That is America's game of the week. I'll be looking forward to it. If it's not America's official game of the week, it's ours.
It'll definitely be the game of the week.
But we're both taking Philly. Do you know where the game is? Let me look it up.
The first game, they play like.
They play twice.
I'll tell you this also. The Eagles are about to go through a gauntlet of football games.
Mm-hmm.
They are about to go through. They have Dallas twice. I think they have Buffalo, Niners, Chiefs, Dallas twice.
All in a row.
No
bye week.
You're going to have to be.
Bye week.
I mean, if they go 3-2 through this scenario, I feel like that's a victory.
That's enough.
Because these guys are going to have to play every single week, and they're going to be in fights.
Oh, they're playing in Philly.
Yeah.
Good. Give it up.
I don't say give it up, but this is a division game. It is going to be a fight to the end. Don't think that one of these teams is just going to blow the other one out. That just ain't going to happen.
You're not playing in Philly and getting a win against the Eagles.
It's going to be a dogfight.
They threw batteries at Santa Claus.
I agree.
It's going to be tough playing in that stadium, man. Good luck, Dak. Miscommunication.
The Dallas needs to get the running game going, and then they don't have to make as many plays. They got to get Pollard moving. He has not had a great season, and I expect a lot more out of Tony Pollard. So he's got to get going.
They can play in Dak's backyard and they lose. Yeah, I'm being real. I don't think Gio's wrong. Gio in the chat, I don't think he's wrong at all. I think this year the Eagles, and here's the thing, right? Like I'm the biggest supposed hater of the Eagles, right? The team.
You did predict their only loss. That was pretty wild.
I predicted their only loss, but I knew it, right? Like, listen.
The New York Football Jets, who scored 10 points against the Giants.
That's just how I feel. I just think that the Eagles do a lot of things better than the Cowboys. The Cowboys' defense that's their cream. That's their bread and butter. You lose Javon Diggs, that's big, but Bland, I believe is his last name. He stepped up. He's played big. He had a multi-interception week.
Ron Bland, yeah, he does it. I agree. He gets some pick sixes.
He's big time.
But the Dallas D made a lot of plays. Special teams made plays. They blocked punts. They were getting picks. They were getting sacks. If they get that kind of defensive energy, it's going to be a very, very long day also.
And both quarterbacks are turning the ball over. Jalen Hurts has 8 interceptions on the year. Dak has 5.
100%.
It'll be a good game to watch. I'm going to take Philly. You're taking Philly, right?
I am going to take Philly at home.
Well, that is America's game of the week, and that does conclude our top 5 picks of the week, or our game picks.
I'm going to tell you my top 5 teams here in a second.
Oh, that's right.
I want my top 5 teams.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, coming in, my top 5 will be very interesting. Oh, I know you put the New York Jets in the top 5.
I did. They won. They won. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Hold on. Hey, wait a minute. You wait one damn minute, right? The same saying applies for every team in football. As long as you find a way to win. We don't go back on wins and losses and go, man, they really lost bad, or man, they really only won by 3 points. No, it goes as an L in the category and it goes as a W in the category. They found a way to get the W.
That makes you feel. If that makes you sleep at night, then I'll give you that.
I will say that it was a questionable call that they were able to spot their own ball and spike it.
No. So what happened in that play is people think that's what happened. That's not what happened. He spotted the ball. The ref came and touched it, which now the ball is alive.
Is that okay?
That is okay. The ref does not have to. If the ball is correct and he comes down and touches it, that play is now live. So I know that was a lot talked about, but just so everyone knows, that was not an illegal play. The ref came in. They did spot the ball. It was spotted correctly, so now he can touch the ball, and here we go.
Okay. All right, give me your top 5 teams.
All right. So my number 5. Every time I put these guys in the top 5, they get smoked. Dallas Cowboys. They come in at number 5. They come in and they just took care of business just like I expected. And I'm going through the teams and I'm like, they're a top 5 team in the league. Like they really are. Like CeeDee Lamb had a huge game. Jake Ferguson's a great tight end. He is a great tight end, Jake Ferguson. Like he is going to be he has Jay Novacek potential.
You're talking.
If you don't know who Jay Novacek is, go look at.
You're talking them straight into the loss.
I'm just telling you, that Jay Ferguson is become a reliable target for Dak, and when he gets in trouble, he likes to find Dak. Pollard's great out backfield. He hasn't been running the ball that well. But CeeDee Lamb, the defense is getting after it. They were blocking punts. They were making picks. They were getting sacks. They were doing all the things that top 5 teams should do. So I put them here again. They've come in and out of it, in and out. So Cowboys, you'll probably lose to the Eagles now. That puts you in top 5.
Oh, boy.
Number 4, I keep going through and I'm like, do I put the Dolphins here? Do I put the Chiefs here? I don't know who to put here. I think the Chiefs' loss was like an anomaly. Like, there's no way that ever should happen in a million years. So, like, I'm still going to take I still think the Chiefs are a good football team.
And everyone agrees with you.
I mean,
everyone agrees with you.
It
just doesn't make any sense.
I think they bounce back. I'll tell you what. Whoever wins this Chiefs-Dolphins game will be my number 4 team. How about that? Whoever wins this week will be my number 4 team. I mean, the Dolphins beat bad teams, but they're still one of the best teams in the league because they beat the bad teams. Okay. That's what they do. But I'm taking the Chiefs at number 4. Number 3, I'm going down the line here. And number 3 is the Baltimore Ravens. They keep doing it. Yeah. And, like, it wasn't pretty against the Cardinals. Like, I mean, they were pretty much winning the game. It was handled easily. The game was handled. But, like, they let the Cardinals score a couple touchdowns late, a couple points late, didn't cover their 8 points, which bothered a lot of people. They did. Lamar's playing smarter. He's not playing like elite football, but he's playing like within the system. And I think that's super important because that's not what he used to do in the past. He used to make these electrifying plays, turn the ball over, and they'd lose games they shouldn't and things like that. Now he's playing a lot smarter, and he's okay with taking 150 yards passing and winning the football game. So, and Gus Bus, I call him Gus Bus. The Gus Bus is Gus Edwards is on it. Gus Bus is like they're giving him the ball. He's getting in the end zone. Getting the ball, getting in the end zone. The Gus Bus, man, jump on. Number 2, I am going to put the Philadelphia Eagles there. Can't believe that I'm putting Philadelphia. They probably are the best team, but I gotta put the Jags number 1. I put the Jags number 1 because they're winning so many different ways, and I love it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You win with the offense. You win with defense. You got to find different ways to win football games, and that's what they do. So, Jags, don't let me down. You're on a bye week, so you can't lose the number 1 spot.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all.
I love it. Let's go. Jags all day.
My top 5 teams, first and foremost, the Jets did cycle out of my top 5. Okay?
They said mute me.
Yeah, nah. When you started, they were like, yeah, shut them down. Shut them down. But I'm going to move the Jets out of my top 5 only because this week there are so many good teams that are performing well, right? Like, it's just hard to compress it down. At 5, I mean, it's really tough. At 5, Bills? I'll put the Buffalo Bills in there.
I can't because of their defense.
Yeah, their defense is bad.
I'll shut up now.
No, but you're right. But, they have Josh Allen, right? And you still want to believe that Josh Allen is an elite talent, and he shows it to us.
He is elite.
He turns the ball over, but I still think that when he comes out on that field, he's that determining factor on whether the Bills win or not. These big defensive pieces help, but Josh Allen is a difference maker, and I think he's very important to their success. So, Bills at 5, the Bengals at 4.
I actually like this. I considered putting them 5. I definitely considered the Bengals at 5.
The Bengals at 4, only because Joe Shiesty has the sauce back.
Oh, they're getting it back. They do this every year.
They do it every year. And this year you knew it. Like that lingering calf injury in the preseason, you all knew it was there. You're like, man, this offense is stagnant. Like, what's going on? It was completely his injury the whole time. You want to say he's on that track towards being healthy because of his play. So the Cincinnati Bengals are in at 4. This is where it gets tough. Okay? This is where it gets really tough.
It's tough. There's some really good football teams.
3. This is where it gets really tough. Okay? Because now I realize that the Kansas City Chiefs aren't in my top 5. This is where it gets tough. 3, I'm going to have to put the Lions.
Man, I don't hate it. When I put them 1 and they let me down, now I'm just very, very frustrated with them.
Take for granted they played a Raiders team that was getting ready to boot their head coach.
Oh, they were. They didn't play that good. That's what bothered me.
They didn't play that well, but Jared Goff, that defense, statistically, I think is up there like top 3, top 4.
I mean, our defense has scored as much as our offense, so I think if our offense would have scored a little more, we probably would have won. But.
Aiden Hutchinson, Dan Campbell, that stunning loss to the Ravens, 35 to whatever.
I love Dan Campbell.
I think that set them back on track. So the Detroit Lions are my number 3 team. Number 2 team, Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. I mean, they're
all right.
They deserve it. They're playing good.
Hot. You see what I'm saying? Like,
their defense
is scorching hot Lions team. They beat.
They beat down.
Okay.
Defense is no joke. That defense is legit.
Like, threw him over the knee, took the switch out of the backyard, beat ass.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore Ravens are my number 2 team. My number 1 team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars. You can't knock them. I understand it's not good for. It just so happens this isn't a big prime time show. I understand it's not good for big prime time media to put the Jaguars way up there. You're never going to see it. You're not going to see it out here. They don't care. Trevor Lawrence tweeted after that victory, like, hey, take that, analyst. Like, you guys aren't going to give. I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan. They hate us. Even when we won 13 games, they're like, you can't get it done. We didn't, but hey, that's not the point. The point is the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing everything they need to get it done. Their offense is good. Their defense is good. They have intricate pieces they're all performing top 5 in their positions respectively. Josh Allen, Alua Khan, the back Cisco, all those guys are playing
Tyson
well.
Campbell, good at secondary.
Robertson Harris is playing well on the offensive side of the ball. If you take Ridley away, you think, man, you can really shut him down. If you take wide receiver 1 away, Evan Ingram has something to say about that. Zay Jones has something to say about that.
Year.
Christian, the slot man, Kirk had something to say about
Jones
that.
Hasn't been hurt, and they haven't even had him. So it's like it's getting. The thing about the Jags is like on offense, it seems like it's somebody new every week, and that's what you need. You got to have that. You got to have
100%.
The only person that I feel like is very consistent is Travis Etienne, and he's a man. That dude.
He's
is
a man,
like
and he's a man, and not only that, Tank Bigsby will also get like you get him, like you'll work him in throughout the year, right?
I have his best ball fantasy team, and like you get to pick the best players, like your best scorers of the league. And I have Tank Bigsby on my team, and every time I look at that scrub, he is -1. Yeah. when Etienne's running the ball so well, like he's not going to get those touches. He's a rook. He's got to work his way in. He's got to earn his stripes. I liked him.
You shouldn't have picked him up. You shouldn't have picked him up.
Well, I put him just because I had Etienne, and you like to handcuff him, man. You got to grab him by the handcuffs.
Etienne is getting probably 80% of those carries. But I do have the Jacksonville Jaguars as my number 1 overall team in the NFL.
Pat Kearney is my boy.
Okay. So, I don't even know who that is.
Pat Kearney was one of the greatest Madden players of all time.
Really?
For the Atlanta Falcons.
Those are my top 5 teams. I couldn't recap them because I probably won't remember them. But the big thing to stand out is that the Kansas City Chiefs were not in my top 5 this week. The list is fluid. I have no regrets.
What are you gonna do when they beat the Dolphins? Are you gonna put them back in?
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
But there are a lot of big games this week, right? The winner of Cincinnati Buffalo, one of them is going to move out of the top 5. One to move in. Like,
the list works every week.
The list is full.
And the NFL's so tough, man. It's just like it's in and out, in and out, in and out. Like
it is. But
I heard somebody say, "I look happier now that McDaniels is gone." That's hilarious.
That's great.
My face froze like this.
But I think that's it for the show this week. We gave our picks of the week. We'll check back in next week to see if we made good on them.
A couple things that happened this week. We went down to Florida, Georgia. We did. We got around, man. We have a good video that we're going to post. It's very fun. Adonis made it. He's very good at it, and it was great. We got to put all the pieces together instead of just having pictures that I posted. So take a look at that video. It's really good. It says between that. It's got a little emblem on it. It's real sweet. Adonis did all that. Got to give him the credit for it. But I now have entries to some of our tournaments here at St. Augustine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start giving those away. Maybe a trivia question. Maybe add some likes or ads or something. And every time you guys add a like, I'll do a drawing at the end of the week.
Whoever picks the games right for the week, whatever.
If you give us your picks and if you win and you want the $50 tournament bucks, like 100%, I'm going to give away different things at different times. St. Augustine, this doing a lot of good IM promos right now. They've actually extended the day one from 10 to now 2.
Not only that, WPT's in town. World Poker
WPT's
Tour.
in town. Over at Jack's, if you guys want to go over there and play, the action is insane. The games are wild. There's
It's all good.
It's going to be going on for 3 straight weeks. We'll have the 5,000 main events coming up. Try to win your way into that. A lot of good things happening. So, but with that, I'm going to say until next Thursday. And we're doing pretty good, buddy. We're getting it together. So,
Yep.
Everything's
That's it for
starting
me.
to fall into place, man.
I will see you guys next week. Tyler, anything else before you let them go?
Appreciate it, fella. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for ragging on me. I do appreciate it all. So, y'all take it easy.
All right. Until next week, everyone. Y'all have a great
guys.
day.